unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Wow. Bob Bennett and the Nevada State Athletic Commission are now confronting Eddie Hearn for trying to pursue the Chavez Jr. option for Danny Jacobs and just move it to a different state. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing if you want to become part of the gang. Notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It does help the channel. Wow. So boxing scene, Thomas Hauser wrote an article, and I kind of reviewed the first article, gave my thoughts, things like that. The video I dropped earlier. There's another article, a follow-up article, and the title says Nevada State Athletic Commission confronts Matchroom over Chavez Jr. And the link is in the description. Check it out. But I'm going to just kind of pull some quotes from it. Bob Bennett of Nevada State Athletic Commission sent a letter to Eddie Hearn, and it says, Nevada law prohibits any promoter licensed by the Nevada State Athletic Commission from having any dealings related to unarmed combat with a person who has been suspended by the NSAC. Nevada law also prohibits a promoter from permitting a person's under suspension from participating in any contest or exhibition of unarmed combat during the period of suspension. Any violation of Nevada or federal law by a licensed promoter provides grounds for disciplinary action. In addition, under the Ali Act, no boxer is permitted to box while under suspension from any boxing commission due to, among other things, the failure of a drug test. Under Nevada law, an unarmed combatant that refuses to submit to the collection of a sample or specimen upon the request of the Nevada State Athletic Commission or its representatives, which would be VADA, or otherwise evades the collection thereof, has committed an anti-doping violation and is subject to disciplinary action just as he would or she would if they had failed a drug test. So this means Chavez Jr., when he got pulled up on, VADA came to collect a sample, identified themselves. The guy, according to the previous Thomas Hauser article, waited from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. and they kept him on site. Chavez, during this 2.5 hour duration, did not give a VADA sample when they randomly tried to. The previous article also states that Eddie Hearn, he just did an interview with Fight Hype. See, and this is, I told you guys, the most dangerous thing, especially since new media is around and this age of, digital media and stuff, the most dangerous weapon is a camera and a microphone. People often incriminate themselves. You see it on time. You see like drug dealers on Facebook going on Facebook Live with paraphernalia in the background. Cops is watching that, and it's no different. Eddie Hearn, he wants to be in the limelight. He's doing all these interviews instead of staying under the radar, and he's making statements which are kind of being refuted by the public and media and, boxing writers and stuff. So he said that Chavez Jr. hadn't finalized with Danny Jacobs, therefore he didn't submit because the fight wasn't official, which is a poor excuse. Then Thomas Hauser blasted and contradicted the flaw in that argument, because if you request the date, according to the article, the previous article, if you request a date saying, hey, we want to fight this guy versus this guy in your state, December 20th, from that point it's open season and fair game, because you have the intent of fighting in these two athletes. So they're subject to test you when they want. Chavez Jr., someone said he came out and said, oh, come back now. You can't do that because you can flush things out of your system. That's why it's a random drug test. You can't tell your probation officer, your PO, when to come and test you. They do it when they want to. So if you are doing something against the rules, they'll catch you or try to or increase their chances of it. So this article also says, in addition, under the Ali Act, no boxer is permitted to box while under suspension from any boxing commission due to, among other things, failed drug tests. Right? Oh, I already said that piece. My bad. Based on Matchroom's ongoing dealings with Chavez while he has been on suspension, it is apparent that Matchroom has violated Nevada state law. Further, given that Chavez's suspension is based on his refusal to submit a drug test required by the Nevada State Athletic Commission and thus is an anti-doping violation, it is apparent that the event scheduled to occur in Arizona on December 20th is in violation of the Ali Act. As such, Matchroom is promoting an event that potentially violates federal law. Bob Bennett of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, his letter further states, November 7th, I contacted Sean Palmer, Matchroom's head of legal and business affairs, and informed him of the legal issues with Matchroom's dealings with Chavez discussed herein. I further informed him of the potential consequences should Matchroom not take corrective measures to comply with Nevada state law, including that of a violation of Nevada law, which would be considered by the NSAC when deciding whether to renew Matchroom's promoter license. Wow. You know, I got to give credit to Thomas Hauser. He's really driving the nail in the coffin with this. This sounds like a total mess. And before any of these articles came out, new media, I stood on the front line and I said, I don't see how this is going to work. Somebody publicly evaded and came up with whatever excuse to avoid a drug test. It'd be one thing, you know, people came up, you know, old media said, oh, the Charlos, right? They missed a VADA appointment, but they were in a whole different state in California doing the Fox up front where they were announcing all the fights, Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia. They were announcing Jermel's next fight with Tony Harrison, etc. So VADA came looking for them in Texas and they were nowhere to be found because they were in California promoting a scheduled event for Fox where they, you know, when they had Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman and all this stuff, right? And old media ran with this story and went wild. Oh, the Charlos missed an appointment. This is far worse because they came to Julio Cesar Chavez's gym. Eddie Hearn had already picked a date out for the proposed fight. And Chavez Jr. was there and for 2.5 hours debated and refused to give them a sample. That, you know, it's like a cop wants to look in your car or search your trunk and then you refuse and you look agitated and paranoid. You know, of course they're going to be a bit weary. You know, it looks kind of incriminating, right? And to make matters worse, you have a guy like Eddie Hearn and DAZN who said, bump that. KSI Logan Paul's this week. Danny Jacobs going to be in town. We're going to promote this thing. We're going to make flyers up. We're going to get graphics, you know, made up and release and announce the dates. Matchroom, if you go to, I'll try to have a screenshot. If you go to Matchroom's page on Twitter, they say tickets go on sale today. So they're putting tickets on sale and acting like none of this stuff is going on in the background. But Nevada State Athletic Commission is absolutely confronting Matchroom, right? And saying, you can't do this. You can't just transfer to a different state, you know? So to me, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen at all, but it doesn't look good. You know, it doesn't look good that you're basically being threatened by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Like, hey, all right, keep pursuing this. You're breaking state and federal laws and the Ali Act by doing this. So that's going to look extremely bad for the Arizona Athletic Commission, you know, and I don't know how Eddie Hearn expected this would, you know, work out in his benefit. You know, he already has a situation with Dillian White in the UK and UCAD where he allowed a fight to go on. See, Eddie Hearn, when Patrick Day passed away, he started crying on camera, and he's done other interviews where he's stated like, oh, drug testing is bad. You know, people who fail drug test, like Gerald Miller. He condemned him. He condemned Tyrone Sprong. when he was supposed to fight Usyk and said, "Oh, get these cheats out of here." You know, was real extreme about it. Eddie Hearn is looking fraudulent. He looked very extreme about it. You know, get these cheats out of here. You know, DAZN and Matchroom dropped Gerald Big Baby Miller. They say he might sign with Top Rank now. So he blasted out Tyrone Spong and Gerald Miller, but then he allowed Dillian White to fight, right? And he's doing everything in his power to move. It just looks bad. Chavez is banned from fighting in Nevada. Then you try to go over their head, and then you try to see if you can move the fight to California. And then you try to move the fight when you found out Chavez had a bad rep in California because he missed some medicals for the Wilder. He was supposed to be on the Wilder Fury card. Then you move it to a whole different state again, to Arizona. So you're basically just trying to stage this anywhere that will license Chavez Jr. And that's not how it goes. It's not like, that's like your mom says you can't spend the night at your friend's house, and then you wait for her to leave, and then you ask your dad and he says yes. You know, that wouldn't really go down in my household. You know, my mom, once she found out that I went over her head, I would be in trouble for that. So I don't know how Eddie Hearn expected this to go on. Furthermore, to me, I don't even think it's a Friday fight. Jacob's first fight at 168. I don't even see it being a big enough fight or a desired enough fight where you would want all this negative baggage and backlash and potentially burning your bridges with Nevada State Athletic Commission for Chavez. In addition, DAZN reporter Chris Mannix released a tweet, and he said that they have Gabe Rosado on this card so he could play backup in case Chavez Jr. can't make weight. Why would you even go through all of this and make yourself look crazy, make it look like you're condoning, cheating and, potential, the incriminating look of Chavez failing or not fail? Well, technically he has failed. That's where they said if he refused and evaded the drug test, then that's the same as failing, because it looks bad. It's like, why else wouldn't you do it? That, that's how they're looking at it. So you would rather have, it's just like you're defaulting. You're like, I just won't let you collect a sample. I mean, if it was that easy, then people who are cheating would just say, no, I'm not giving you blood or urine. That can't work, because like I said, then people can just dope up and just turn them away when they come. So of course it's going to get treated like that. It makes sense. And it's funny that Eddie Hearn, he always has something to say about Wilder versus Ortiz 2 numbers, 100 to 150,000, but he's not really commenting and updating us on Dillian White. He's trying to put Dillian White on the Anthony Joshua Ruiz 2 card in Saudi Arabia. We still don't know what's up with the B sample. Errol Spence gets ejected from a car, gets in a bad wreck. Eddie Hearn, loving the limelight. He weighed in on it, said his 2 cents. He said, this is irresponsible, and I'm so disappointed with Errol Spence. He's disgusting. This behavior is disgusting. So what is this? You're doing all of this to put together Jacobs versus Chavez? So to me, this is the opposite of the American takeover or whatever he was saying when he first came out with DAZN, because this is just a bad look. Can you imagine? Why would you, for Chavez Jr., so Jacobs could fight Chavez Jr., why would you do this? So for example, advertise ticket sales, make flyers, make graphics, bring the media out and have them take pictures and hire a photographer for Matchroom Boxing, take pictures, have Jacobs talk, have Chavez talk on the podium, rent out a space, have pictures of them facing off, all for the fight to be canceled. DAZN and Rematch Room have had so many fights canceled for failed drug tests, things like this. It's just a waste of expense. The UK, they did a Joseph Parker versus Derek Chisora. The gloves are off face to face, and then Joseph Parker pulls out of the fight because he got bit by a spider. So you did it's like wasteful. You're wasting all this money. The same thing with Gerald Miller versus Anthony Joshua. You had press conferences, one in America, one in the UK. You had flyers and backdrops and graphics made. You put tickets on sale. You had Madison Square Garden expecting Joshua versus Miller, and then someone fails a drug test. Now, certain situations you can't control, like Gerald Miller failing a drug test. Rematch Room couldn't have controlled that, but you can absolutely control it here with this Chavez Jr. situation. So I don't understand it. Can you imagine if wanting to take this type of heat? Why would DAZN want that? Why would Matchroom want that? Eddie Hearn want that? Nevada is calling your bluff, saying you better stand down. You know, you're facing federal and state charges and disciplinary action. We don't have to license you. If this is Eddie Hearn's big American takeover, where he ensues and pursues this particular fight, right? And then he gets his license, his promoter's license, banned for any length of time in New York. Bro, what is he going to do? How are you going to make Caleb Smith versus Canelo? You know, I don't know how that's going to work. How you going to make Billy Joe Saunders in Canelo versus in Vegas if Vegas bans you, the state of Nevada, because of what you're doing? You know, I don't know. Maybe if Golden Boy says we're the lead promoter, maybe they'll allow it. I don't know how that would work. But independent, you know, Eddie Hearn events, Devin Haney's, his second home is Nevada. So you couldn't put Devin, if you lose your promoter's license, you can't put Devin Haney versus Javier Fortuna in that state if you lose your promoter's license. This is crazy. This is crazy. Shout out to Thomas Hauser for the report, but you know, I fully expect that the fight is going to get canceled. You know, if they push through it, I don't understand. You know, maybe you know, Eddie Hearn got the next Johnny Cochran or some kind of loophole through this, but with all the backlash, I don't see how this fight's going to push through. But you know, we've seen crazy things happen in boxing, like the WBC franchise title or increased amounts of clenbuterol being allowed now, you know. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not a good look. And this is what I said from the beginning, new media. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.